Earth scientists finally achieved what many thought impossible: faster than light travel. The HFY drive, named after its creators, opened the stars to humanity. Within months, Earth received an unexpected transmission, an invitation to join the Galactic Coalition, a group of 27 spacefaring species. The United Nations spent weeks debating who should represent humanity in this historic moment. They selected Ambassador June Park, not just for his diplomatic skills but for his unshakable patience and analytical mind. Some questioned the choice. June wasn't flashy or charismatic like other candidates, but those who knew him understood his quiet strength. "Ambassador Park, your ship departs in 12 hours, said General Kim during the final briefing. "Remember, you carry the hopes of 8 billion humans." June nodded, his expression calm despite the weight of responsibility. "I will not let Earth down." The journey to Nexus Station, the Coalition's headquarters, took 14 days aboard the ECS Horizon, Earth's most advanced starship. As they approached the massive space station, June stood at the viewport taking in the extraordinary structure. Nexus Station looked like a gleaming metal flower with enormous petals extending outward, each housing different species' quarters. "It's breathtaking," whispered Mina, June's assistant. "And intimidating by design," June replied. "Note how our approach vector gives us maximum exposure to their defense systems." When the Horizon docked, June led a small team through the airlock. They had expected a grand welcome. Instead, they found only 3 aliens waiting: a tall, blue-skinned humanoid, a hovering creature with multiple tentacles, and a being that seemed made partly of crystal. "The humans have arrived," announced the blue-skinned diplomat, who introduced himself as Representative Dahl. "How quaint that you've managed to join us with your basic understanding of spatial mechanics." The floating creature made a sound like tinkling bells, which June's translator interpreted as laughter. "On behalf of Earth, we thank the Coalition for this opportunity," June said smoothly, ignoring the insult. The crystalline being flickered with light patterns. "Yes, we've assigned Earth Tier 7 diplomatic status, appropriate for newcomers with your limited experience." June knew from his briefing that Tier 7 was the lowest possible rank. Even species who had achieved space travel centuries after humans held higher positions. "We look forward to learning from the Coalition's wisdom," June replied with a slight bow. "At least they're polite," the blue alien said to his companions, not bothering to lower his voice. A small robot guide led them through the station. June noticed how other species watched them pass, some with curiosity, others with obvious disdain. No one offered greetings. Their quarters were located in the outermost section of the station, far from the important meeting halls and communal spaces. The rooms were small, with basic furnishings that seemed slightly wrong for human proportions. "They've put us in the basement," Mina muttered once they were alone. "Actually, this is useful," June said, beginning to inspect the room carefully. "They've shown their hand too early." That evening, June attended a reception for new Coalition members. 3 other species had joined recently, yet all had been assigned higher tiers than Earth. "Ah, the human delegate," said Representative Mock, a being with gold-flecked skin. "Your species made quite a leap from crude rocket propulsion to the HFY drive. Did you purchase the technology from another species?" "No, it was entirely developed on Earth," June answered. Mock made a sound. That might have been disbelief. Remarkable, if true. Throughout the evening, June endured similar comments. Some species ignored humans completely. Others made jokes about Earth's primitive culture. A few openly questioned whether humans belonged in the Coalition at all. Rather than protest, June observed carefully. He noted which species spoke to which, who held real influence, who was similarly dismissed. He paid special attention to a small delegate called He, whose species, the Tavi, seemed to receive treatment similar to humans. Back in his quarters, June recorded detailed notes about everything he had witnessed. "They think we're simple, emotional, creatures with limited intelligence," he told his team. "This is not random rudeness. It's systematic. The Coalition operates on unwritten rules of power and influence." "So what do we do?" asked Mina. June smiled slightly for the first time since arriving. For now, we play their game. We accept the role they've assigned us while learning everything we can. They expect us to protest or become discouraged. We will do neither. He looked out the small viewport at the stars. Let them underestimate us. History shows that's always been humanity's advantage. 3 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Coalition. Every day, June Park attended meetings where he faced the same treatment, dismissal, interruption, and mockery. Today was no different as he sat in the resource allocation chamber, a vast room with tiered seating arranged by diplomatic rank. Earth's position was in the back corner, barely visible to the council leaders. The human wishes to speak again, announced Senior Diplomat Karis of the Tele-Hegemony, his tone suggesting a child had interrupted adults. Perhaps to share another emotional appeal? June stood, his face revealing nothing of his thoughts. I merely wish to point out that the proposed mining restrictions violate Section 12 of the Coalition Charter. The newcomer quotes our laws to us, said Representative Sun, her gold-flecked skin shimmering with amusement. How endearing. Several delegates laughed. June noted which ones remained silent. The charter states that all members have equal rights to develop uninhabited systems within their assigned sectors. June continued calmly. The new proposal would limit Earth to half the standard allocation. The limitation is for your own safety, Karis replied. Humans lack experience in interstellar resource extraction. The meeting moved on without addressing his point. This was typical. Later, as June walked through the station's less traveled corridors, he heard someone calling softly, Ambassador Park. He turned to see the Tavi representative, emerging from a side passage. The Tavi were small with silvery fur and large eyes. Their homeworld had joined the Coalition 3 centuries ago but remained at Tier 5. Representative June bowed slightly. How can I help you? Not here, he whispered, glancing around. Please follow me. Curious, June followed the Tavi to a small maintenance room filled with humming equipment. Once inside, he seemed to relax. The Tele don't monitor these areas, he explained. They consider maintenance beneath them. You wanted to speak privately? To warn you, he said. The Tele and their allies are planning something. They fear Earth's potential. Your species adapts too quickly. June nodded. We've noticed their attempts to limit our development. It goes deeper. The Coalition isn't what it claims to be. His voice dropped lower. It was founded on principles of cooperation, but over centuries, certain species secured control. My people have been trapped at Tier 5 for 300 years. Why are you telling me this? Because in 3 months you've done what we couldn't in centuries. You're mapping the power structures, building connections with marginalized species. The Tele have noticed. June considered this information. Would you be willing to work together? Representative That's why I'm here, he replied. But you must understand they will never respect us. They don't need to respect us, June said. They only need to regret underestimating us. Over the next few weeks, June built a network of allies among the lower-tier species. The Tavi introduced him to the Noor, crystalline beings relegated to Tier 6, despite their brilliant scientific achievements. The Noor connected him with the Veld, whose trading skills were legendary but who remained at Tier 4. Each meeting happened in forgotten corners of the station, maintenance rooms, unused observation decks, or storage areas. June learned the true history of the Coalition, how the founding principles had been twisted to serve the dominant species. In public, June continued to play his assigned role. He spoke when appropriate, accepted dismissal gracefully, and appeared to know his place. The dominant species grew comfortable with the quiet human who seemed to have accepted his inferiority. Your restraint is impressive, commented Ambassador Tam of the Veld during one secret meeting. If they insulted my species, as they do yours, I would struggle to remain calm. Patience is strategic, not passive, June replied. While they mock us openly, we learn their weaknesses. June's quarters had become a center of quiet rebellion. The walls were covered with diagrams showing coalition power structures and resource flows. His team had identified critical vulnerabilities, In the system, the telehegemony controls everything through resource allocation, Mina observed, pointing to their chart. But they rely on the Luvari for technical support, and the Nor for scientific advancement, and all of them underestimate Earth, June added. They see our emotional capacity as weakness rather than strength. That night, June received an urgent message from He. The Tela were planning to propose new restrictions on human expansion, claiming Earth's aggressive nature posed a threat to coalition stability. This is happening faster than we anticipated, Mina said, worry clear in her voice. No, June replied, a slight smile forming. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. Their fear makes them predictable. He looked at the gathered representatives of forgotten species, all watching him with hope and uncertainty. The game is changing, June said. Tomorrow we stop playing by their rules. The great chamber of the coalition buzzed with anticipation. Today, the telehegemony would propose strict limits on human expansion rights. Representatives from all 27 species filled the tiered seating, with the powerful Tier 1 members occupying the prominent central positions. Ambassador June. Park sat quietly at Earth's assigned place in the far corner. Unlike previous sessions, he wore formal Earth diplomatic attire instead of the plain coalition uniform given to lower-tier members. His team noticed the change, but said nothing. This chamber will now address the telehegemony's proposal regarding Earth expansion limitations, announced the session moderator, a tall being with overlapping plates covering its body. Representative Karras rose from his seat, his blue skin gleaming under the chamber lights. Esteemed colleagues, we must address the human question directly. Their species shows concerning tendencies toward rapid expansion and resource consumption. Their historical records reveal numerous conflicts and environmental mismanagement. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Therefore, we propose limiting human expansion to no more than 5 star systems over the next 50 cycles, with mandatory coalition oversight of all operations. The standard allocation for new members was 20 systems. This proposal would effectively cripple Earth's development in galactic society. Does Earth wish to respond? The moderator asked, almost as an afterthought. We do? June replied, rising from his seat. All eyes turned to the human corner, many with expressions of mild amusement. They expected protests or emotional appeals. Before we proceed to a vote, June said calmly, Earth would like to present its solution to the Riven Nebula energy crisis. The chamber fell silent. The Riven Nebula problem had stumped coalition engineers for decades. The energy-rich nebula was vital to several sectors, but radiation pulses made extraction extremely dangerous and inefficient. This is not relevant to the current discussion, Karras objected. I believe it is entirely relevant, June replied. He activated a small device and a holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber, showing a complex but elegant machine design. This is the pulse harmonizer. It neutralizes the radiation surges by creating a counterphase energy field. The technical specialists among the delegates leaned forward in their seats. This is theoretical, scoffed Representative Sun. No, June said. We've built and tested a prototype in similar conditions. The results are available for your review. Before anyone could respond, June continued. Additionally, we've developed a treatment for the cascading genetic disorder affecting Luvari colonies. The Luvari representatives stiffened in their seats. The genetic disorder had been devastating their outer colonies for decades. The treatment uses a targeted RNA modification that prevents the cascade effect, June explained, displaying another set of technical diagrams. It's been thoroughly tested on synthesized Luvari genetic material. How did you access Luvari genetic data? Demanded a Luvari representative. It was included in the public health archives that all coalition members can access, June replied. We simply approached the problem differently than previous researchers. Before the chamber could erupt into discussion, June added, Finally, we've optimized the quantum communications network to eliminate the pulse decay issue. The solution requires minimal modifications to existing equipment. Complete silence fell across the great chamber. The pulse decay problem had reduced communication efficiency across the coalition for over 15 years. How is this possible? Karras finally asked, his tone a mixture of disbelief and suspicion. Humans adapt quickly, June replied simply. While you were busy mocking us, we were learning, observing, and solving problems you've ignored for generations. From the mid-tier, seating Representative He of the Tavi stood up. I can confirm that my technical team, reviewed the pulse harmonizer design. It appears functional and innovative. Others began speaking up as well. The Noor verified the communication solution's viability. A Luvari medical specialist reluctantly acknowledged the treatment approach, showed promise. This changes nothing about the human expansion issue, Karras insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. It changes everything, June countered. Earth offers these solutions freely to the Coalition with a single condition, that all members receive fair treatment under the Coalition Charter. The chamber erupted into discussion. Lower-tier representatives who had never spoken during sessions began demanding to be heard. Mid-tier species openly questioned the Tella's authority to limit any member's rights. As the chaos unfolded, June caught Karras watching him with new eyes. Not just annoyance now, but wary respect. The vote on the Tella proposal will be postponed, the moderator announced, struggling to maintain order. Later, in a small meeting room, June met with representatives from 12 previously silent species. You've changed everything, he said. They cannot dismiss humans now. This is just the beginning, June replied. We showed them our value today. Tomorrow we show them their mistake. The news spread through Nexus Station quickly. Earth would not be limited after all. Their technological contributions had made them too valuable to restrict. For 3 days following June's presentation, Coalition meetings buzzed with discussion about human innovation. Lower-tier species openly approached the Earth delegation, seeking partnerships and knowledge exchange. This sudden shift in power threatened the established order. June knew the Tella hegemony would not accept this change quietly. He was right. On the 4th day, June arrived at his office to find armed Coalition security waiting. Their commander, a stern-faced being with metallic skin, stepped forward. Ambassador Park, you are summoned to an emergency session of the Security Council. June nodded calmly, though he noticed his staff was being prevented from following. May I ask the nature of this emergency? Allegations of serious violations have been made against Earth's delegation. The Security Council chamber was smaller than the Great Chamber, with only 9 seats for the highest-ranking Coalition members. June stood alone in the center as Karras presented the Tella's case. We have evidence that Earth has illegally accessed classified Coalition databases, Karras announced, his voice carrying through the room. Their so-called innovations were stolen from secured research projects. Images appeared on the chamber's displays, fragmented data logs, partial access records, and communication snippets taken out of context. Furthermore, Karras continued, they have engaged in unauthorized diplomatic activities with multiple species, attempting to create discord within our coalition. June remained still, his face betraying nothing as accusations mounted. When Karras finished, Representative Sun of the Luvari spoke. In light of these serious violations, Earth faces 2 options, she said, her gold-flecked skin pulsing with intensity. Accept permanent Tier 7 status with restricted access to all Coalition systems and facilities, or face immediate expulsion from the Coalition. The room fell silent, all eyes on the human ambassador. Ambassador Park, you may respond, said the council chief, a massive being who rarely spoke. June looked around the chamber slowly, making eye contact with each council member. When he finally spoke, his voice was clear and confident. I invoke Protocol Arbiter. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Even the guards at the door shifted uncomfortably. That protocol hasn't been used in millennia, sputtered Mock, another council member. Yet it remains valid according to the Coalition Charter, Section 1, Paragraph 3, June replied. I formally request an arbiter proceeding to examine all evidence and testimonies under oath of truth. The council members exchanged troubled glances. Protocol Arbiter was ancient but unassailable. It required complete transparency from all parties, with severe penalties for falsehood. You cannot possibly think this will help Earth's position, Karras said, his blue skin darkening with emotion. I'm not concerned with positions, June answered. Only with truth. The council chief raised a massive hand for silence. The human representative has the right to invoke this protocol. We will reconvene in one day to begin the arbiter proceeding. As June was escorted out, Representative Sun hurried to catch him in the corridor. You don't understand what you've done, she hissed. Withdraw this request now and we can negotiate better terms. There's nothing to negotiate when the charges are fabricated, June replied. Sun's golden flecks pulsed rapidly. The evidence may be constructed, but the council will support it regardless. The system protects itself. Does it? June asked. We shall see. The next day, Nexus Station was in turmoil. News of the Arbiter Protocol had spread to every level. Hundreds of representatives crowded the observation gallery as the proceeding began. June noticed he and other allies positioned strategically throughout the crowd. The ancient Arbiter Protocol required a neutral third party. The coalition had selected a respected Noor elder known for absolute integrity. This proceeding will examine all claims with truth-bound testimony, the Arbiter announced. Let us begin with the evidence against Earth. Karras presented the same files as before, but now, under oath of truth, he had to explain their source. These access logs show human data patterns in classified areas, he said. Were these patterns confirmed as human or simply assumed to be? The Arbiter asked. Karras hesitated. Our security system flagged them as potentially human. Could you provide the original security logs? Another hesitation. Those specific records are unavailable. When it was June's turn, he stepped forward with a small data device. I submit as evidence the complete record of Earth's coalition database access, authenticated by system timestamps and access codes, he said. He then presented something unexpected, recordings of private meetings between tele-officials discussing ways to manipulate coalition resources and suppress emerging species. These were provided to Earth by concerned members who witnessed systematic corruption, June explained. The chamber erupted in chaos as June continued presenting evidence. Documents showing how resource allocations had been manipulated for centuries. Proof that research from lower-tier species had been claimed by the Tela and their allies. Communications revealing the deliberate suppression of technological advancement among newer members. The coalition was founded on principles of collective advancement, June said, his voice cutting through the noise. Yet some have twisted it into a tool for dominance. Representative Dahl rose in fury. You cannot possibly expect. I expect nothing, June interrupted. The evidence speaks for itself. 6 months after the historic Arbiter proceeding, Nexus Station looked remarkably different. The physical structure remained the same, but the power flowing through it had been transformed completely. June Park walked through the main corridor toward the Great Chamber, noting how delegates from all species now mingled freely. The rigid tier system that had defined coalition interactions for centuries was gone, replaced by a merit-based approach that Earth had proposed. Ambassador Park, called a familiar voice. June turned to see he approaching, no longer hunched, in the cautious posture that had once been typical of the Tavi representative. Counselor He, June corrected with a smile. I'm still getting used to your new title. As am I, he admitted. The Transition Council meets in 30 minutes. We should hurry. They entered a side chamber where representatives from 12 species sat around a circular table, a physical representation of the new equality. Some faces were familiar allies from June's early days. Others had once been enemies, including Representative Sun of the Luvari. The human approach is effective, Sun admitted as they reviewed progress reports. Her gold-flecked skin no longer pulsed with condescension. Their insistence on merit rather than tradition has improved efficiency by 43%. The resource allocation system alone has resolved 3 territorial disputes that had been ongoing for decades, added a Noor representative, their crystalline form glittering under the lights. June listened quietly. The evidence revealed during the arbiter proceeding had made the old system impossible to maintain. The corruption had been too extensive, the unfairness too glaring. In the 2T chaos that followed, it was Earth's proposed reorganization plan that finally brought stability. There is still resistance, it noted Tam of the Veld. The former Tier 1 species find the new arrangements challenging. Change always meets resistance, June replied, but the benefits are becoming clear to everyone. After the meeting, June made his way to Earth's new offices, no longer tucked away in a distant corner, but located in the central hub alongside other key members. His team had grown, now including specialists from 6 different species working together on coalition-wide problems. Mina handed him a data tablet as he entered. The Riven Nebula project is exceeding expectations. Energy production is up 70% and 3 previously struggling colonies are now thriving. June nodded with satisfaction. And the communication network upgrades? Complete in 80% of coalition space, she reported. The remaining sectors will be finished within 2 months. He was about to respond when a message alert sounded. The newly elected coalition leader requested his presence immediately. The leader's chamber was a simple room, reflecting the new values of transparency and function over hierarchy. Leader Ray, once a mid-tier diplomat from a species known for careful deliberation, greeted June warmly. I wanted to speak with you before the General Assembly, she said. Today's announcement will change everything again. Is there a problem? June asked. No, Ray smiled. The opposite. The Coalition Expansion Committee has approved first contact missions to 17 new spacefaring species. We want Earth to lead this initiative. June's eyebrows raised slightly. Some might still object to humans taking such a prominent role. Of course they will, Ray agreed. But no one can deny your results. The Coalition has made more progress in 6 months than in the previous century. We need the human perspective. Later, in the Great Chamber, now rearranged with concentric circles rather than tiered levels, Leader Ray addressed the full assembly. She outlined the expansion plans and Earth's leadership role in the new era of coalition growth. As the announcement concluded, Kairos of the Tela approached June in the corridor. His blue skin had lost some vibrance in recent months as his species adjusted to their new equal status. I was wrong about humans, he said stiffly. June nodded. A common mistake. The truly intelligent learn from it. How did you do it? Kairos asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. You had no power, no allies, no leverage when you arrived. That's where you're mistaken, June replied. We had the greatest power of all. We had been underestimated. When no one is watching you, you can see everything. That evening, June stood at a viewport overlooking the docking area where a new Earth vessel was arriving with additional diplomats and specialists. Beyond it, the vast expanse of stars stretched into infinity. A message from Earth's government appeared on his personal device. Ambassador Park, the President sends her congratulations on your success. Earth's position is now secure. June sent a simple reply. Tell the President that Earth isn't secure. We're just getting started. From mockery to respect, from margins to center, humanity had arrived on the galactic stage. And the show was just beginning.